Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Wittertainment Christmas Quiz. That's what we have for you. Let me introduce you to our team members. From Radio 4's front row, Mark Lawson.
Hey!
From Heat Magazine and half of Boyd and Floyd, that's Boyd Hilton. From In the Loop and the Thick of It, Joanna Scanlon. And the other half of Boyd and Floyd, that's Nigel Floyd. Now, word on team captains. Hugh Bonneville sends his apologies. He is snowed in. So please welcome the man who is Truman Capote, Carl Rove, and most importantly, Dobby the house elf, Toby Jones. David Morrissey also sends his apologies. He's had a bereavement in the family and he can't be with us. Now, clearly, that means we've only got one team captain, and Boyd and Mark are sitting either side of a cardboard cutout of Jason Isaacs.
A very fetching cardboard cutout of Jason Isaacs with his tash.
That's right, from
Skeletons, one of my favourite films of the year.
More of which next week.
Thank you.
But it just seems to us that, I mean, it's not fair, apart from anything else. 2 people in a cardboard cutout doesn't equal 3 people on the other team.
Sure.
Is that right, Tony? Okay, so what I think, it's sort of the pantomime season. So what I was wondering is if we could work some Wittertainment panto festive magic.
With the cardboard cutout.
And if we all said, hello, Jason Isaacs, to the cardboard
It'll
cutout.
still be a cardboard cutout, I'm sorry.
Okay. So maybe if we could all, maybe, you know, wishes come true. On this day of days. How's this working?
It's not coming true, he's abroad. I'm just telling you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, after 3, please, let's just look at the cardboard cutout. And you at home, if you could just imagine a cardboard cutout, if you could say, hello, Jason Isaacs, after 3, and then maybe our Christmas wish might come true. 1, 2, 3. Hello, Jason Isaacs! Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jason Isaacs!
Hello, everyone. Hello, those lovely people who got married and mentioned my name at your wedding, which is so surreal for me. I can't get it. I put a suit on, Mark, and a bit of pomade in honour of you, and you turned up looking like a tramp.
That's right. That's partly because you're meant to be in Iceland.
I was meant to be in Lapland with my children, meeting Santa, but
Because it was snowed off.
Lapland came to London instead.
Is it really you?
No, I was going to do Dave in a very deep Liverpool accent, a little bit throwaway like that, but he's just bigger and sexier and cooler than me, so there's no point. Hello, Dave. Sorry.
That's okay. So it's him. It really is him. So
I'm not the bloke that they say hello to, because that's a strange, surreal monster that's out there in the ether. I'm just an ordinary man with trousers slightly too tight, actually, at Christmas. I shouldn't have put this suit on, but that's another thing.
Okay, so we have our team. So let's go ahead then with our first round, which is called They Said What. In the very few weeks in 2010 when Jason wasn't on the show, other guests were allowed on.
I've got no films coming out next year. I had too many this year. I apologise.
Here are some questions based on the appearances of those other guests.
Oh, should the teams test their buzzers?
Clarify the buzzer issue. Where is the buzzer?
Yes, where is the buzzer?
It's in front of them.
Ooh.
They've got a button. They press a button.
Nigel, have you got one?
I'm sorry, I didn't go to Oxford, Mark, so I'm not familiar with the...
Have you got a buzzer?
Yes. Canon, Cambridge.
Does anything count?
Yeah, I can hear that.
This one?
Yeah.
It's there, yep.
This is going to be really a great sequence, you know.
I'm on.
It's got a delay.
Boys playing with buzzers.
It's got about a 3-second delay.
Yeah, there's a big delay.
In case we swear,
Big delay. It's not like QI, is it?
The entertaining buzzer round, where everyone presses their button because they've never seen one before. Are we all over the excitement of having a buzzer? Okay. First of all, The Social Network was one of the big films of 2010. The story of the origins of Facebook and its founder, Mark Zuckerberg. When acclaimed screenwriter Aaron Sorkin joined us on the programme, he told us the beauty of Zuckerberg's invention is that it enables you to reinvent yourself and effectively become someone else. But did Aaron Sorkin say he'd be happy for everyone to really think he's A, George Clooney in Ocean's 11, B, Rob Lowe in The West Wing, or C, Brad Pitt in Thelma and Louise? That's Jason.
Oh, no, sorry, it's twitching. I know the answer, though. Sorry. I think it was Rob Lowe in The West Wing, since that's what he wrote.
Rob Lowe, you say, Jason? Thanks very much. Let's just find out if you're right.
Mark Zuckerberg invented something he needed. And what he invented was a brand new way to socialize. I can identify with this. I would be very happy being in a room by myself, writing a scene, slipping it under the door, and just have somebody slip a meal back for me, and have everyone think that I'm Rob Lowe on the West Wing.
There you go. Points for Jason.
That's all right.
Right, question number 2. Made in Dagenham, the story of the striking Ford workers in the 1960s. Clearly one of the best films of the year, not seen by enough people. If you didn't go and see it, shame on you. If you did, well done, go and see it again.
Stick to the script.
Well, that is the script. It's very, very important. It's a wonderful film. Anyway, Steve Woolley came on the programme several times. And Steve Woolley was particularly excited about the certificate that he got for Made in Dagenham. There was something that he refused to take out of the film in order to get 12 certificate rather than 15 certificate. Was it A...
Toby.
Swearing.
Was it A, 15 F words, B, 4 or 5 C words, or D, a shot of someone's naked bum?
That's Boyd.
A, there's 15 F words.
Is the correct answer. Well done.
Boyd Hilton on the points. Let's just hear that moment again.
You must have been given the option of dubbing.
Well, we have the option of taking them out, but it would have been crazy. It would have been denying the truth of the film, and I'm not going to start taking out like 15 F words and to have a 12A. I mean, the point of this movie is that we wanted as wide an audience to see it as possible. We don't really want to doctor the movie, and that would be really... I mean, I've never done it before. I refused to take Ralph Fiennes' buttocks out of End of the Affair for the sake of...
Which got you an 18 rather than a 15.
Yeah, and they changed the law after that.
A splendid clip and points being allocated appropriately.
Can I just say, I'm going to give Toby a point anyway for leaping in and saying swearing, which I thought was it was the correct answer. I mean, the technical correct answer was given by Boyd, but I'm keeping score, so well done, both of you. Well done, both sides.
So another of Stephen Woolley's films this year was gangster movie Perrier's Bounty. There's quite a lot of cussing in that, as I remember.
There was a massive amount of cussing in that, yes.
In fact, he's probably responsible for more cussing this year than anyone else.
He is cuss-tastic.
With an all-star cast featuring Brendan Gleeson, Cillian Murphy and Jim Broadbent. In the film, Jim Broadbent's character has a disturbing habit, as fellow cast member Jodie Whittaker explained to us, but what is it? Is it he picks his teeth with a specially grown long fingernail, he loudly clears his nostrils one after another in the manner of a footballer, or he munches merrily on coffee granules? Toby.
Coffee granules.
Why did you say that? Did you see the film?
I didn't, but I heard it on your show. That's what he did.
Bonus points. 3 points. Well done, yes, marvellous.
And this was the clip that Toby heard.
It really is revolting.
It is revolting. He sits with a jar of coffee, just ground granules, no water, no milk, no sugar, and just continually tips it into his mouth and chews it to try and get an instant caffeine hit. And, I mean, he wasn't that method. It was crushed up biscuit. It was chocolate biscuit.
Best film of the year, clearly, Inception, directed by Christopher Nolan. Cillian Murphy came on the programme to talk about Inception, and we were asking him to explain the plot and exactly what he did in it. Did Cillian Murphy say that he was A, the Mark in the movie, B, the Simon in the movie, or C, the Jason Isaacs in the movie? Anyone?
And that's Jason Isaacs.
I watched it last night. I'm jet-lagged. I'll just come back to this. I watched it from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock this morning, and I would say he's the Mark, surely.
Shall we hear the clip?
So I think it's fair enough to say that my character would be the Mark in the movie if we were to use the language of a heist movie. But
just explain what that means.
So, like in a traditional heist movie, the Mark is like the guy who's the subject of the con of the.
You know, like Robert Shaw in The Sting. Or...
There you go. Yeah.
Very good. Very good points. This is Nigel Floyd's solo question. Nigel, are you ready for this? Renowned hard man Russell Crowe was in fighting form when he told us... Wasn't he, Mark? When he told us about taking on the role of Robin Hood this year. But how did he explain to us that despite his tough guy image, he's really just a big softy at heart? Did he say, A, he's into poetry, writes songs and wears makeup for a living? Did he say B, he's kind to animals? Or C, he cries when he watches weepy movies?
I'm going to go for A there, because I think he was probably being ironic.
Okay, here's the clip.
You know, the funny thing about the way that I'm portrayed in the media here is that, you know, just hard man sort of... let's focus on this for a second. You know, I'm into poetry, I write songs, and I wear makeup for a living.
Excellent.
This is not the habits and behaviour of a hard man.
There you go. You're absolutely spot on. So there's top points there for Mr. Floyd.
OK, next question. Acclaimed director and long-time Crystal Palace fan Paul Greengrass is a friend of the programme. He told us about his Iraq-based WMD thriller Green Zone in March this year. But how did I describe Paul in that particular interview? Was it A, the Steve Coppell of Southern California, B, the Simon Jordan of Hollywood, or C, the Alan Pardew of Beverly Hills? Do you want those options again? OK, let's throw it over to...
Or Jason is...
Well, no, throw it open to the crowd.
Right, to the audience, was it A, the Steve Coppell of Southern California, B, the Simon Jordan of Hollywood, or C, the Alan Pardew of Beverly Hills? B, the audience get 1 point. Well done. Should we hear it?
Who gave you that line? Because you would have no idea.
You know nothing about football, though.
No, I know that was the gag. The gag was that Simon was saying in my head, ask him if he is this, and I was saying words that meant nothing to me. It was like being demonically possessed by Simon Mayo. It was really interesting. Can we have the clip? I think there's a political parable in that, don't you?
Are you trying to tell me this is the Crystal Palace of big movies this summer?
You know, Paul, far be it from me to say anything related to football, but, you know, do you think perhaps, you know, are you the Simon Jordan of the Hollywood world at the moment? Is that...
Oh, no!
Shame!
Oh, that is terrible. I think that's called revenge.
That's very good. It's always good to hear Paul Greengrass going, oh, gosh.
I'd just like to say I still don't understand the joke.
That's fine.
I still don't know what it means.
It still doesn't matter. OK, that's the end of that round. Mark, what are the scores?
The scores at the end of that round, Jason's team have 5 points, but Toby's team have 7 points.
Wow, there you go. They're in the lead. Now, next around, where we have taken 2 of Mark's reviews and mixed them together in what young people call a mash-up and what old people call 2 things chopped up a bit. Can you work out which movies are being reviewed here? And this first one is for Jason's team.
Essentially what you've got here is a problem of what the movie is and what it isn't. Okay, now the things that it's been compared to are, they've said, well, like it's Batman Begins in that it takes the story back to its origins, you know, it makes it darker and edgier and, you know, therefore more violent. It has a very bleak, very dark, very portentous, very, I mean, you know, even potentially Bergman-esque look about it. I mean, it is most significant that he's on screen for quite a long time with Max von Sydow, who is Swedish and is actually more convincing in his slightly northern English accent. It has to have a consistency. It has to have an inner rhythm. It has to have a central, recognisable tune. And I think that the fact that it doesn't is a very big problem.
There were 2 films in there. Nice to hear the word Bergman-esque being used for the second time in one show. Which were the 2 movies being reviewed there?
It's our friend Russell, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. It's Robin von O'Hood and HP7 Part 1A Alpha.
Which is completely correct. So the only thing wrong with HB71A is that you're not in it enough, Jason, but I'm sure we can fix that.
But then the grown-ups tend not to be.
Yeah, I saw Tim Spall at the party, and he said, it's weird people congratulating you, isn't it? And I said, oh, no, I've only got a few lines. He went, few lines? I'd have killed for a few lines. I've got a silver glove, mate. That's all I got.
OK, Toby's team, here is your mashup. There are 2 films being reviewed here. Can you work out which the movies are?
One of the joys of the film is the sense of being lost in it, which is why that line about, I'm sorry, whose subconscious are we in at the moment, is funny, because you do get that sense of I'm just as lost as they are. It may well be that if you're very familiar with the subject matter, with the comic strip, you know exactly where you are. I spent an awful lot going, what kind of film is this? On the one hand, there are broadly bawdy comic elements which are played almost as slapstick humour. On the other hand, there are elements which are to do with death and grief and cheating, which sit very awkwardly alongside the sort of bawdy comic elements. I just can't remember the last time I saw that level of visual indulgence tied to a script which was clever. And I don't mean clever, I mean clever. I mean, there is a difference between clever and clever. It had that British picturesque quality written all the way through it, albeit in a sort of slightly, oh, actually, we're making a British class satire, you know, satirical movie. It's undermining that lovely view of British country life, and yet it isn't really.
So, Nigel, Toby, Joanna.
Well, we thought there might have been a reference to Inception.
Toby, you don't have to buzz when it's your round.
It's alive, yes. We thought perhaps there was a reference to Inception there, and then we moved on to Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and then we moved on to Kick-Ass, and then he said it was a British movie, and then we lost it.
Downton Abbey?
No.
It's a good...
Inception, you're right on. Inception, you're right on. So no idea what the smug, parochial British movie based on a comic... over to Jason's team.
I believe it's Tamara Drew.
And you'd be correct. It is indeed Tamara Drew, so a point each.